The congregation in Philadelphia. Abner, the mentor of the 70 teachers, was active in Philadelphia during these 3 months. You should not confuse this city with the Philadelphia from the biblical book of Revelation, which is located in present-day Turkey. The Philadelphia in Perea is present-day Amman, the capital of Jordan. When the 70 teachers were working in Perea, there was a large Jewish community living in Philadelphia. The synagogue of Philadelphia had never placed itself under the supervision of the Sanhedrin in Jerusalem and was therefore not closed to the teachings of Jesus. Abner taught there 3 times a day, and the inhabitants of Philadelphia embraced him as a beloved teacher. When Jesus was soon afterward arrested and crucified, Abner decided to settle permanently in Philadelphia. This synagogue became one of the first Christian churches and was the headquarters for the mission to spread the gospel to the East. It was a stronghold of Jesus' teachings for a long time and remained an independent center of Jesus' message in this region for centuries. Abner was the first head of the church, and he remained so until his death. For centuries, there had been a strained relationship between the Jews of Judea and the Jews of Philadelphia. This struggle also extended to the early Christian churches. After the ascension of Jesus, the church in Jerusalem, led by James, the brother of Jesus, began to experience serious difficulties with the congregation in Philadelphia. This estrangement from Jerusalem explains why nothing is mentioned about Abner and his work in the Gospels of the New Testament. This feud between Jerusalem and Philadelphia persisted throughout the lives of James and Abner and continued even after the destruction of Jerusalem. Philadelphia remained the headquarters of the early church for the East, as Antioch was for the West. It was Abner's apparent misfortune to disagree with all the leaders of the early Christian church. He quarreled with Peter and James over administrative matters and the jurisdiction of the church in Jerusalem. He broke with Paul over philosophical and theological disputes. Abner was more Eastern than Greek in his philosophy, and he stubbornly resisted all of Paul's attempts to reformulate Jesus' teachings to make them less offensive to Jews, Greeks, and Romans. As a result, Abner became isolated. He was the head of a church that was not held in high regard in Jerusalem. He had dared to oppose James, the brother of the Lord, who was then supported by Peter. This behavior was enough to separate him from all his former companions. Then he dared to oppose Paul. Although he fully sympathized with Paul's mission to the Gentiles and supported him in his disputes with the church in Jerusalem, he bitterly fought against the interpretation of Jesus' teachings that Paul chose to preach. In his later years, Abner openly condemned Paul as the clever forger of the life teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, the Son of the living God. During Abner's later years and for some time afterward, the believers in Philadelphia adhered more closely to Jesus' message than any other group on earth. Abner lived to be 89 years old and died in Philadelphia on November 21st of the year 74. Until the end, he was a faithful believer and teacher of the heavenly kingdom.